Yeah, we played really well tonight.
That's on me. My bad.
You right?
Yeah. My bad. Go ahead, Coach.
I talked to Coach Capel right after the game really briefly, and I was just like, man, it was just one of those nights. Played really well. I was proud of our team. It was extremely player led. They were awesome the last couple days in practice. They're always awesome in their professionalism and in their process and things like that. But it was, we faced some adversity here recently, and the process in practice, the leadership was phenomenal. I mean, I went into some of these huddles tonight, and I just stood there until they were done talking. And there were times like the timeout was almost over, and they were still talking. I love that. This guy's one of them. The voices I heard, they were fixing stuff before it was broken. It was good. We've harped on playing desperate, and helped. The ball went in early and got us off to a great start. But I told Coach Cable before the game too, like watching his team play against Georgia Tech the other day on the road, just how desperate they played, and they really had our guys' attention just because of how tough and gritty they were in that game. It's just hard when somebody jumps on you like that, kind of gets away from you a little bit. But that's a dangerous team, and but I'm proud of our guys. We're fortunate to come out with a big road win.
From shooting so poorly one night to never missing the next game.
Bubblegum card, bubblegum card, law of averages. The other night, you always give your opponent credit, so you credit Virginia for sure. They did great defensively, all that stuff, but I went back and watched the tape 640 times, and we had some really good looks. And sometimes it's a make or miss game. Sometimes we got great shooters and great scorers, but it all the numbers kind of play out. And I know this guy was really excited to. This is relatively close to his home. His friends and family were here. He's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, which makes me want to throw up. So, man, he was awesome tonight. Just got us off to an unbelievable start, raining in shots. One of those guys that were really leading. I'm so proud of him. It's so much fun to coach him. It's just sad. I always get to this point in the season to start thinking like, gosh, man, we're so far along in the season. I only get to be in the locker room and in the huddles and stuff with a guy like Isaac McNeely only so much longer. And hopefully for a long time more, but he's a joy.
What kind of keyed your start? Because I kind of feel like it almost fed off of the Virginia game. Because you look on stats, your usage rate isn't that high, but it seems like almost you came into this game like you're going to make it happen from the start.
Yeah, we always have a first play of the game. We go over it and shoot around, we work on it and stuff. And the first play of the game, we had like 3 different options, and I just happened to be one of them. And I think it was RC or Woolley made a good pass to me, and I knocked the first one down. And as a shooter, when you see the first one go down, you usually get in a groove. And my teammates kept finding me in the right spots. Credit to them. We got the best bigs in the country. They set the best screens, get me wide open, and I was able to see a couple go down and get us rolling. And then everybody else caught fire from there. Our offense was really cooking. Like Coach said, I thought we had some good looks in the last game, but tonight we were fortunate to see him fall down. And when we're making shots like that, I think we're really hard to beat.
I mean, you talk about player passing and all of this amazing stuff. I mean, you play a really fast offense. Can you talk about how that made an impact in the game, either of you?
Yeah, I mean, we got stops tonight too. A big focal point for us the past couple of days is getting stops, clean stops, not fouling, getting clean rebounds and getting out in transition, because that's when we're our best. We have tons of sets that we can run, but we'd love to not run one set the whole game if we don't have to. We want to get out in transition. We got a ton of guys that can get downhill, a ton of guys that can space the floor. And when we're getting stops and getting out in transition, we're a really good team, and that's what we try to do, every time out.
Pat, what stood out about Pitt on film offensively, and how did you try to defend them?
I mean, they just have really dangerous offensive players. Their guards can really go get a bucket. I'm going to say numbers because that's just how we operate in our program. That's no disrespect to anybody. I always say if we were playing the 96 Bulls, I would say number 23. So number 3 is as good of a one-on-one bucket getter as there is in our league. Number 7, I mean, he's a dynamic scoring guard. The freshman 8 is a really talented player that can really go, get downhill. 22, really good scorer. Big kid 2, who's a medal eater, which is a very affectionate way to describe a hard playing cat. 13, the freshman, is a really aggressive, driving, attacking guy. I mean, that Georgia Tech game, they looked really, really, really good. So I'm missing somebody too, but like you asked me what concerned me about Pitt, all that. And Coach Capel's a really good coach too, so they got a good scheme.
It was scoreless for about 7 minutes there, and from the floor in that first half, I mean, what did you guys just do defensively to keep them at bay?
I mean, just we always preach, be great at us, be great at us, be great at us. Like no matter what a team's doing, whatever concepts they're running, our principles, if we're doing them at a high enough level, can guard anything. And I just felt like we were connected on the floor. We were a loud defense. We were playing with great activity, and we were generating stops because of how connected we were playing.
Isaac, for as much as shots were going in, could you feed off that energy defensively, and could you feel kind of their frustration, especially early in that game?
Yeah, 100%. Like I said earlier, when we're getting stops and we're getting out in transition, that's when we're at our best. So, we always say you don't want one end to affect the other. If you're not making shots, you don't want it to affect the defense. But vice versa, you do want if you're playing really good defense or if you're making a bunch of shots, you want that to carry over to defense and just continue to get stops after stops after stops. Because, like Coach said, this is a dynamic offensive team. They got really good guards that can get downhill, play ISO ball. We knew what we had to do, and we executed our game plan tonight. And I'm super happy with the win.
Isaac, how much do you, with Michael out of the lineup, how much do you feel a responsibility to kind of, I know it's next man up for everybody, but just you individually having the skill set that you have, how much do you feel like you need to do more while he's out?
Yeah, we're, like you said, next man up program. Obviously nobody wants to see somebody go down with an injury. We got Kanai and Michael out right now, obviously. Nobody loves that, but, we can't make excuses. There's no excuses. It's next man up, and, it's on me, it's on the other captains, and it's on the bench. Coach always says bench needs to bring in a spark, and I thought they really did that tonight. Our bench played really well, and we just got to continue to do that. The next man up, it's on all of us. We just got to continue to bring energy, and like Coach said, I thought tonight was really player-led. Like Vaughn, I heard his voice a ton. Ali, I heard his voice a ton. We got Kobe, Ryan, we got great leaders on this team, man. It's just a joy to play with.
Speaking of Conwell, he had 24 points tonight. Can either of you talk about his impact on the team, especially playing in the paint?
Yeah, he's a joy to play with. Like, he spaces the floor really well, and when he gets hot, he gets hot. Like, I think he knocked down like 5 in a row there. He just really got going, and he's one of the best players I've ever played with. And it just really opens up things for others too. When he got going, it opened up things for Vaughn and Sonny inside. Like, it just one thing after another. RC, like, he just impacts the game in so many levels. Not even just scoring. I think how many assists did he have? Like 6 assists tonight or something like that. Like, he's really playing well, and like I said, just a joy to play with for sure.
All right, thanks everybody.
Thank you.